Hello everyone, welcome to Sunburned Plays. Ace Attorney Trilogy episode 7, I think. We're right where we left off. On the next day, District Court, courtroom number 4. I mean, this is the first time they've done a trial where, like, we don't know from the outset who the actual murderer is. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well. I would like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well. I call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studios, see? This here is the employee area. The actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there is a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. Ooh, she did it! Because he was like trying to sleep with her or something. I don't know. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m. The production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to that whole thing again? No. I think I can probably remember that. So the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. Oh, samurai spear, alright. Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call this security officer to the stand. Ooh, quick thing by Detective Gumshoe, and he done. He out of here. Will the witness declare her name? My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. Your name, please. Oh, dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names. Wendy Oldbag, dearie. So just call me Grandma. It's practically my name. So even when I was young, it's still how the other, you believe it? But there was this boy, the captain of the chess, he called me an old bag. Well, I just cried because I had a crush on him, and objection. I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I was just getting to the good part, dearie. Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you. You know your stuff, dearie. You may begin your testimony. She sure is one hell of an old bag. Alright, let's see what we got here. Now, before you start anything, on the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Yes, that's true. Okay, well, now what do we have? We have the Powers photo. which was taken at 2 p.m. So that'll be important. You know, the time of death was 2:30. We have the card key, we have the guide map to Global Studios, we have the time of death, 2:30, cause pierce through the chest. That's all what we already thought. I don't know, this might be... I can't think of anything she would say that any of this would get rid of. This might be a press situation. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through there since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Oh, we're gonna press that shit. Anyway, it was 1 o'clock when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5 o'clock. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading toward the studio. We could probably press that, too. You saw the defendant, then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. On the day of the murder, arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. I mean, yeah, like, we can actually confirm that, because that's when the computer turned on. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through there since the morning. Yes, that's true. I, had some errands to run that morning. What kind of errands, ma'am? What kind of errands? Oh, well, you know... Answer the question! Actually, I was watching poor Hammer and Powers. Observing, you know? Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station? Whippersnapper, I told you I locked the gate, didn't I? I did my job! I'm not sure your boss would see it that way. Anyway, I always watch Hammer's run-throughs. Always. Never missed one in all my years. Wow, I want to see a Steel Samurai run-through too. You could quit being a spirit medium and take up guard duty. Not a bad idea. Anyway, it was 1 o'clock when I got to the guard station. Yes. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Were you, though? Were you, though? I mean, I can't discredit... you know, I feel like there's no harm in pressing this. So you were watching there the whole time? No breaks? Not even a second? Of course! I am a professional, you know! Or are you criticizing how I do my job, whippersnapper? No, it's just after seeing you eating those donuts in the guard station yesterday. I can watch the gate and eat donuts at the same time. Snipper-wapper. Snipper-wapper? Old Windbag is losing it, Nick. Why don't you raise an objection? So, the witness was on duty through the afternoon, the whole time. Very well. What did you see? Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Yes. Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. Yes, it was Powers. That man right there, and he was heading toward the studio. Why, I'm gonna press you on that. So you saw Mr. Powers? That's what I said. Got wax in your ears, Sonny? Nick, this is your chance. Yeah, time to pull out the secret weapon. I'll say it again. It was him. Is this not when we present yet? Oh, do I have to, like, wait for you? Okay. Oh, yeah, alright. So if you press someone when you actually have evidence, it kind of gives you, like, a second chance then? I just didn't think, like, I thought you... Because, like, this is Will Powers' outfit. So, like, that's why you could think it was him. I don't know. I just feel like this doesn't necessarily refute that. If it turns out that it is actually him. Let me get this straight, old bag. Miss Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this, exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo-Old Tokyo. Miss Oldbag, is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course! Didn't your mama teach you any sense, Sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? No, they can't. Well, I mean, I wonder. true, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss, witness. He's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Huh, nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Huh? Even Edgeworth is surprised? The prosecution would like to ask the witness. Please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. How was I to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me, this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. Wow, old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. The man in the photo. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. What do we have here? That's okay. Autopsy report got. We don't have Will Powers' alibi as a thing here, so that's not going to come into play. Then this is okay. Let's see. That morning during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his leg. See? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? So he had sprained his ankle. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's gotta be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Okay, well, I don't want to do that to any old ladies, but... Never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. Did you now? Trip and fall? Yes, and to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh! So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt. Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant then? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. You may continue your testimony. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Which prop? He broke a prop? Sure did. His own samurai spear. His samurai spear? The murder weapon? Luckily, I was there with my duct tape to fix it. This strikes me as a significant detail. I'd better write this down in the court record. A break in the shaft has been mended with duct tape. Okay. I mean, if it was mended, it would still be used as a murder weapon. It doesn't really seem like that makes any difference yet. We'll see. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained? Not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. Thus the nap. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot, okay. I think we've heard enough, haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there is one thing that bothers me. Which is? Where is this Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes. And it is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure you're sure, Your Honor? Object! Hold it right there! We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility also. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen him. What, that's it? So, if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be this Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Let's see, the time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m. Yes, that's true. 2:30 p.m. Pierced through the chest by a spear. And the spear breaking the shaft had been mended with duct tape. So the question then is, like, was it mended by the time the murder happened? Which I assume, yes. Did she say she mended it? I don't remember that. He's dragging one leg. True enough. I guess it has, but yeah, you see the spear in it, like, it's been mended by that point. Maybe if we confirm that that is indeed him. I don't know. But the card key was in his bag. So how would he have gotten in without it? Unless he just deposited it back in his bag afterwards, I guess. Let me look at this map again. So we got the main gate. Gate goes Studio 1, Studio 2. The dressing room is that way, employee area. Alright, you gotta go through the gate in order to get to Studio 1 or Studio 2. You must! So... Alright, that doesn't help me either. This seems like a press situation then. Yes, that's true. The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. Hold it, man! Are you absolutely sure? Oh, quite, Sonny. Nobody suspicious looking passed by at all. Nobody suspicious looking. Right. No one else went there. What about before you got to the guard station? You mean before 1? Why, everyone was in the employee area before then. And I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention, if they had, I would have seen them. Are you I mean, there's nothing else to press here. The witness has answered the question. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness. That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, edgy boy. Edgy boy? Old windbags sure has balls. Or, well, you know what I mean. Old windbags have a way of skipping over important details, after all. Or, for that matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps? The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? Yes. What's wrong now, then? Pierced through the chest by a spear, yeah. Yeah. The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. What, like I'm gonna present the same photo? Like, oh, it's not him. No one else went there. I don't have the evidence for this, man. Yeah, that didn't work. Oh, God. Whoops, didn't go so well. Try it again. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. Unless you didn't see them because... Because... It doesn't... Skipping over important details, after all. Entirely forgetting them. And what details is she forgetting, and what do I have to get rid of here? How do you know that? Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts to the young detective. And then, after some rubbish about it being a secret, pal, he told me everything. I see Detective Gumshoe shares his fellow officer's fondness for donuts. I've pressed literally every sentence. Like, I'm just gonna keep doing this. Like, we'll go the whole time. Yeah, absolutely sure. Yeah. Nobody's suspicious looking, right. No one else went there, we pressed that. I mean, before one. Everyone was in the employee area before then. And I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention, if they had, I would have seen them, but would you have? Had to pass by the witness. But then anybody from the... who was already in the employee studio could have gone. Before then. I think this is the thing. I think we need to go through the present now. Damn it! Must be on the wrong track? No, this is the line. I know this for a fact. It has to be. Come on now. That does it? I don't know why. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct? Yes, sirree, Sonny. So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture? And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed the words, October 15th, 2 p.m., photo number 2. Even I know that means it was taken at 2 p.m. on October the 15th. Really, Sonny? Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says photo number 2. Photo number 2? The computer only held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? I mean, I knew all that, it's like we didn't arrive there naturally. Order. Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want you to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not 1 but 2 people went to the studio that day, yet there is only data for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Look, I mean, it makes sense now that that's what it would do, but it's kind of obtuse. Just a little bit. Only someone with access, the security lady herself! Me? You watch your mouth, whippersnapper! The only person I saw that day was Will Powers! But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, that's what it would seem to mean. Can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, help! Huh? Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Huh, some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper? Something the matter, Miss Oldbag? Ah, that's right! I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai? Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. I see. Your testimony, please. Alright, who else did? Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see? Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day. Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny, I've only just remembered it. Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination. Well, I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Who is this other person? Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if the assistant did it. Every day after I have one other important job to do, I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking. But what constitutes suspicious looking? How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking? Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces, for the most part. For the most part? This is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag. Well, I didn't touch that suspicious-looking Will Powers photo, did I? I think she's missing the point. Throwing out one photo that day. Yeah, so what is it? Well, who in the heck was in that photo you erased? A fanboy. Fanboy? Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day. Wait a second, didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside and, well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain? I told you they were freaks. Oh, and... They're kids. Children. Whippersnappers. Kids? So on the photo that you erased, it was a boy. Probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What? Order. Order. Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be about in the 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh yes, well we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade, I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear. Impossible, I'd think. It's quite heavy. Right, as I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there, that makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. Well, if they hadn't fixed the spear yet... But they did, though. Unless, like, the duct tape had come off and then they'd reattached it. Because, like, you could just take the pointy end, like, pick it up and shove it at somebody. I don't know. Even if you're a small child. But, like, why would someone let you do that if you're a little kid, right? This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. Mr. Powers? Yes? Tell me straight, were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio? I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest. So who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo? How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. What? You should take better care of that stuff. I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a steel samurai costume. So, where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick? What are we going to do? First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this. Right. And it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right, but if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey, Nick, it's time. Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on this matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studios was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence. But there is still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well. Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right. Great. As if the stakes weren't high enough. So, who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed murder? It could have been either of these two people. Well, if the assistant girl knew about the drain. Or anybody who knew about the drain, really. But I'll start with the boy. It was the grade school boy! Why isn't anyone saying anything? Bah! Are you seriously suggesting the boy did it, Mr. Wright? Grade school boy kills veteran action star with spear. For one thing, the murder weapon was with the steel samurai. Would you care to explain just how the boy would have obtained it from him? Maybe that was a dumb move on my part. Maybe? Maybe? How about absolutely, Nick? Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I have to penalize you, as I warned. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. May we move on, Mr. Wright? Gah, this fight isn't over yet. If you would, Your Honor, one more chance, please. Very well, go ahead. So, who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed murder? I mean, assistant girl. It was the assistant. The steel samurai costume was in his dressing room. She stole it, and in doing so, she became the steel samurai, even though she doesn't look like that at all. So you're saying the steel samurai in the picture is really the assistant? That's correct, Your Honor. No, I'm saying she could have gone through the drain. If you're serious, you've got guts, Mr. Wright. Remember the photo? Wasn't the steel samurai a little lame? He was dragging his foot. Oh. Uh-oh. Bad feeling time. So anybody who knew... Oh, remember the testimony. She didn't know about his injury. Okay, fine. Fine. The assistant knew nothing of Mr. Powers' injury. She could look the steel samurai look with that costume. But she couldn't walk the steel samurai walk. She wouldn't have limped. Ugh. That kind of takes the legs out from under that case. I have to penalize. Oh, we are out of influence. Oh, we've done. That's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong the trial, nor is there any need for more time to decide the case against the defendant. This case is extremely clear. I see no room for misinterpretation of the facts. What? I see plenty of room. It's still wide open. No? This court finds the defendant Mr. Will Powers. Oh my god, I failed. The accused will surrender to the court immediately, to be held pending trial at a higher court within a month from today's date. That is all. This court is adjourned. Wow! Dude, you tell me I don't have to start this from the very goddamn beginning. Dude, this is so far away! Get out of here! Oh my god, that's such nonsense. Wow. Oh my god, skip, 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 skip. That's gonna do it for this episode. I'm gonna skip ahead off screen. We're gonna get back to where we were. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.